we are back, I think, to another stream. It feels like it's been a while since I've done this, but it's actually only been about 5, 6, 7 days, I think. Um, yeah, feels like it's been a long time. Feels like I've squeezed in about a month to the past week or so somehow. Been a lot of ups and downs, some stress, some happiness though, so that's good. As per usual, these streams are kind of, there's a set theme and a set topic, but I'm more than happy to wander off into other territory if anyone feels like talking about anything else. Um, Down below in the description, you will find a link to the Real Underground, which is my membership page. You don't have to sign up or pay for anything if you don't want to. There is a bunch of free stuff on there. So you just go on the link below and you click on collections and then click on free, and it'll show you a bunch of free ebooks and stuff like that. There's also a link to my Instagram down there if you want to check that out. Um, Not that many people watch these live. I've had a few people say to me, while you're still doing the lives, like not that many people turn up, which I think is very, very strange because it's an easy way for me to archive a little chunk of content, kind of a chunk of my ethos away onto YouTube. It's an interesting way to make content. It kind of forces you to just make it in the moment. And I like that. Even if no one was watching these, I'd still enjoy doing them just because it's it puts a little bit of pressure on you and makes you just do something instead of sitting back and wanting to edit everything. And yeah, I think it's interesting. All that being said, I did actually forget I had rescheduled the stream for today. So originally it was supposed to be on Friday, I think, and then I moved it to today at 7 p.m., thinking that I was going to end up moving it again. Just some personal issues cropped up that I ended up having to deal with, and that put me a little bit behind with a lot of work stuff and creative stuff. And I completely forgot that I'd scheduled it for today until about half an hour ago when I got the notification saying Jake is going live in half an hour on my Patreon, which was like an auto scheduled post. I thought, oh no, I'm so busy. So I might not end up being on for too long. Also, because it's Sunday, probably not that many people are going to show up, if any. There's literally like one person watching right now, so. But if you are watching this live, and if you're watching this after the fact, actually, if you're watching the replay, please make sure to like the video. Not that many people watch them. It will take you about 2 seconds to like it. If that, if you're logged in, it'll be a millisecond. So it really helps. And if you're not subscribed, please remember to subscribe as well. I'm trying to get more subscribers on the YouTube channel at the moment. I just think it's an interesting way to share ideas, and being able to do it like this, being able to do it on the live stream, just super quick, super direct. I just find it really interesting. I'm fascinated with it as a form of communication and media. Yeah, but if you're watching live, and obviously not that many people will be, or if anyone at the moment, if you are watching live, please feel free to talk in the chat. If you don't want to, don't worry. I have a set topic that I'm going to waffle on about, which I actually set. Weirdly enough, I set this topic maybe a week ago or so. I kind of like come up with the thumbnails and the titles ahead of time, just so that I have a little bank of interesting things I can speak about. But actually, the past week, more has happened to do with this particular topic, to do with this theme, this subject. So it's given me an increased kind of incentive to talk about it. And I'm super interested in going over some things. If anyone wants to jam for a little bit, we can jam a little bit later. And just talk creativity, talk about ideas. So because of a few projects, I've had to kind of take a crash course in my very basic HTML and learn more about CSS and JavaScript and all this coding nonsense. Many, many moons ago, I used to work in a magazine company. And because of that, and because of stuff like MySpace when I was 16, I had very basic understanding about certain elements of JavaScript and HTML. The past week, I had a crash course in it, initially just for some kind of web dev stuff that I had to sort out. There's a few projects that involve websites. But once I realized how easily I could pick that kind of stuff up, how easily you could find the information online, or just Google any particular phrase and you'd be able to cobble together a piece of code that works somehow. Once I realized that I could do that, I started exploring web apps and progressive web apps, or just apps that you can launch from your home screen, which are essentially just a web page, but they've just been created and designed so that they look like an app, and it gives the user an experience like an app. So literally the past week I've made about, I think, 2 dozen prototypes of magic effects, web apps that use different forcing methods, different reveals, stuff like that. Just really, really early baby steps, basic stuff, and it has been so much fun. It's encouraged some really cool conversation in the membership. Um, what I what I've enjoyed is just putting them all together into a little kind of like beta app page that I posted on the membership this week. And I'm just gonna kind of take apps out and replace them, move them in and out whilst I'm testing them. Just so people who are members can take a look, they can check it out. They can save these apps, test them, give feedback if they want to, or some of them are pretty much done. But the whole point behind them is they are magic apps that stray away from the super intense complexity of some of the apps that come out today, where there's this huge year-long kind of development, and there's a huge price tag to them as well, which I don't disagree with whatsoever. It's a free market, people can charge whatever they want. But I like this idea of kind of going back to something a little bit more basic, something that you might view as throwaway or disposable. Back when the iPhone first came out, I remember there was very slim pickings when it came to magic apps, and when they did come out, they were it was a throwaway effect for £2.50 on the Apple Store. And I like the idea of bringing a few of those kind of ideas back and seeing what can be done with them now. So some of the stuff that I've created, literally just in the past 5 days, I'd say 4 days, if that. Some of the stuff is, there's a book test, which is really, really cool. It opens up on the iPhone, or you can open it on other phones as well, on Android. It's just that thematically this one fits better with iPhone, and it looks like the Apple Books app. And you click on, what's the title of the book? The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And then your participant can kind of blindly swipe back and forth through the pages until they're ready, until they've decided, and it will automatically shift the page to a predetermined number that you want. So you know what's going to be on the page, you know what the first word is, the last word, you know what the page before it and the page after it say. And so it's a really neat kind of book test that you can do. Super easy force. There was an app that involved it looked like a YouTube playlist open on your YouTube, and you scroll back and forth with the phone face down, and they click wherever they want, but it's only ever going to direct to one song. And so these really simple, just baby steps ideas are what I've been playing with the past couple of days, and creating some really fun reveals as well. Utilizing some of the capabilities in CSS and JavaScript today that maybe weren't there. You know, even so, some of the stuff that I was looking at wasn't even there last year. So there's a lot of interesting things that you can do with these web apps. There was a bit of a uproar among certain developers earlier this year, just because Apple issued this kind of release saying that they were maybe not going to support progressive web apps being kind of added to the home screen, or it was something along those lines. I know that there was a whole big thing to do with it. Sorry, I've just got a message on my phone and it's just covered up that. Right, okay. Yeah, apparently there was this like whole uproar. I think they've walked back that now, and they've taken it back and said that web apps can stay on the phone. I don't know the full deal with it, so I might kind of be embarking on this fruitless adventure where that capability isn't going to be available to me soon. I'm not too sure, but it is a marvelous tool just for creativity, for getting ideas out there, for testing things, for the ability to just prototype something ridiculously fast. I absolutely love that. I really love that. Darren, stop messaging me on WhatsApp. You're ruining my little live view. The idea that I can kind of wake up in the morning within 3 or 4 minutes, I've got this basic page made just through really basic code and bring in the assets, bring in the graphics, and just create something out of nowhere, out of the blue. I love that idea. There's not many things where you can have that immediate feedback just straight away. Speaking of these apps, Darren's just messaging me on WhatsApp saying some feedback about one of them that I created literally today. I created this app today. It's called Stop Words, and it looks like the traditional iPhone stopwatch app. But you input a word that you've peeked into it, and then they can start the timer, and it's meant as like how much time are you going to give me to read your mind. Stop when you think if 5 seconds is enough. Stop then, whatever. But then the phone glitches out, and the number that they've stopped on like glitches out and goes up and down and shudders, and then changes into the word that you had previously peaked and inputted. And it looks really cool. Like certain letters are replaced with numbers and stuff like that. I find it really, really interesting just because it is the most basic, simple reveal. It's a really simple reveal. There's no complexity. There's no like secret input. You don't do it from your Apple Watch. You don't do it from uh, a Bluetooth trigger or anything like that. It's just let me take my phone out. You look like you're typing something in, maybe your password. Hand it to them, and it looks like the Apple clock app, like where you can get to the stopwatch. And I just find the directness of it is what really appeals to me. Granted, half of that is because I'm only just learning, so the really basic stuff is what I'm learning and working on doing, and that's what appeals to me because it's maybe where my skills and my talents, what level they're currently at. Yeah, Darren is just messaging me about this app. Stop it, Darren. Surely you got a notification saying I was live. I am genuinely, I can't imagine now this not being a huge part of my creative process. When I want to prototype something, when I want to test something, just this visceral ability to just have it instantly there, to have that feedback instantly there, be able to test something so cleanly, so quickly. I think it's going to change the way I approach my schedule during the week, like a huge amount. The avenues that I can go down when I wake up in the morning, when I want to create something, it's going to open so many doors for me, which I'm really, really interested in. Also, I just want these apps for myself to create, to perform. So what I'm really excited about is properly testing these out, and figuring out mm, figuring out the best way to perform them, I guess. Hi Tom, you okay, bud? Hope you're all right, dude. So, it in essence, the whole reason for wanting to do this is I do like magic that involves technology. It just it doesn't always suit the performance style that I'm wanting to present, or it doesn't always suit the environment or the audience. However, it does kind of take me back a little bit to when I used to perform at bars and like early gigs and stuff like that. Beer garden work, nightclub work, pubs. That's always been the stuff that I love. And those early kind of magic iPhone apps you used to be able to get, I used to love them when I did perform to people in nightclubs or beer gardens and bars and stuff like that. And I think there's a little bit of nostalgia to it, making stuff like this. It's so quick, it's so direct, and you can just get away with using it. And it's almost like a gag. It's that simple and it's that quick. You get the reveal, you get the effect, you get a peak, whatever it is, a force. The idea that I can make something and then just go out and use it. I've fell in love with that idea the past couple of days, and it's been so much fun pursuing that. It's gotten me a lot more interested in in magic and technology, like the wider landscape of it, if that makes sense. So there are certain apps in the past that I've kind of not refused to use. I've just never been able to see a way that I would use them. Uh, and on the complete opposite side, there are apps out there that I absolutely adore. Enigma by Christian Grace I use constantly. The first week that I purchased that app, I think there was one night where I used it about 40 times. Just trying to get better at it, trying to get better, trying to get quicker, trying to get better reactions, just trying to get smoother at the wordplay in it. And there are certain things like that where it totally fits the character, and then there are certain apps which it just doesn't whatsoever. The performance style, it doesn't match up, it doesn't line up. But I do want to pursue other performance styles for creativity. For the sake of creativity, I want to be able to make more commercial magic, make more commercial mentalism, make more commercial tech magic as well. And even if it's not something that I personally perform, I love the idea of creating it just for the sake of creation. That's something that I hold very, very close to me, is this idea that you can just create just for the sake of it. There doesn't necessarily have to be an end goal. There doesn't need to be, it doesn't need to be performed or to be sold. It can just be a creation because you woke up one morning, had an idea, and you need an avenue to get rid of it, to get out of your head, make room for more ideas. So I've always created iOS shortcuts, Apple shortcuts, and I can accomplish quite a lot with these. And there are many great creators out there who use shortcuts. Or David Jonathan released the Black Mirror project, just full of amazing stuff. Mark Lemon's Devious, full of amazing things. And a lot of the shortcuts that I use, just they do fit my style, they do fit my performance, the type of effect that I want to present. And in learning to create the app side of things, it does almost directly come from wanting apps that suited my performance style, but also did harken back a little bit to that kind of throwaway disposable app that costs nothing but delivers a solid effect and delivers it well. All that to say, anyway, that's what I've been working on a lot lately. It's been super, super exciting. There's been some moments where I've managed to basically finish a nearly final code, launch it on my phone, and just think, I can't believe that I had that idea, half an hour ago, and it's pretty much complete right now. It's so good. It's been so good for my positivity around creation. It's just given me a bit of a new lease, which I'm really, really excited about. Um, it's opened up a load of new doors for me to explore. On like the grander scale of technology and magic, I do not have too much experience, and those are places that I do want to explore some of the more, the ways that you can kind of, how would you put it, the ways that you can combine various pieces of technology with your phone or with Bluetooth remotes or things like that. um, I do want to explore some more of those options and more of the hardware side of things. I'm very, very interested in that because there are a few ideas I have, even regarding stuff like, PK touches that would utilize certain elements of hardware, or pieces of technology that don't necessarily utilize coding. There's so much I want to explore. So making time for yourself, not just to create, but also to learn new ways to create, is stupidly, stupidly important. It's something that I think it stalls a lot of people. Well, it scares them and it stalls their creativity because they they want to create, they want to make something, but they don't want to learn how to create it, and it can scare people away. The complexity of certain things, um, even if it's just, if we just use card magic as an example, there are certain elements of card magic that scare people away. Gaff making, making their own gimmicks, splitting cards, or learning a stack. someone wants to achieve the effects that you can achieve from stack work, but they don't want to learn a stack. It seems scary to them. And initially, that was kind of how I felt about coding the apps and, you know, creating these progressive web apps. But it was just it's so much easier than I thought it would be, which is super exciting because it's given me a bit of a new lease towards other ways that I can learn new ways to create. Just a lot of new avenues. That's one of the things that I find most exciting about creating magic is finding new doors to open, new ways that you can make something. It also gives you a lot of what is the word? It gives you a lot of leeway with just what you can achieve. Because in a sense, you limit yourself a little bit if you are just solely pursuing one area. Don't get me wrong, there is always the argument that, you know, you'll become a master spending however many thousands of hours doing just this one thing and get, you know, be the most perfect person that I've never been that type of person. I've always been someone who wants to be a bit of a jack of all trades, whether that is in, you know, whatever job, whatever career I currently have, or whether that is in just whatever my hobbies or my skills or my talents. I really enjoy the idea of being able to do, you know, being able to be good at whatever you put your hand to. And I think more people should attempt it. More people should just give things a go when they seem a little bit scary or they seem like they're gonna. Oh, I can't. You know, I want to achieve this, but I can't do all the work to get there. Sometimes it's not that much work. It's just the idea of it that puts you off. Darren says, just joined, dude. Some of the tech stuff you've shared in the last week have been insanely good. Remind me to tell you about the PK Tech Touch I've had an idea about. I will remind you, dude. I was just talking about you a little bit earlier because I was trying to look at the number that's on my screen and little WhatsApp messages from you kept coming through. I wasn't saying anything bad, don't worry. But I will definitely remind you to tell me about that because that sounds sick. And I've been having a few little ideas about PK touches lately. Um, it's one of those things. It's cyclical. Every 2 months, I'm desperate to become obsessed with a new PK touch. I can't remember if it was you I told about, Darren, or maybe someone else. Oh no, it was you. It was you. I told you about like a concept method for a hard a piece of hardware that can be used for PK touches that I can't name on YouTube. It's not too bad, but um, yeah, dude, I'm excited to hear about that. Definitely remind you. I'm gonna have to make sure I schedule these way better because, like I said, literally just under an hour ago, I had forgotten that I was doing this, and I got reminded myself by the notification saying that it was happening. So I wish I had managed to, prepare more for it. It's just been in one sense, it's been a very good week creatively, just because of the crash course and learning new things, approaching new ventures. What in one way it has been very good. Well, in a few ways it's been good, and then in a few ways it's been a really shitty week. Just personal issue wise and stuff. Uh, yeah, it's been a bit of a weird one, but I'm feeling feeling up there. Roller coaster, eh? If anyone is just joining us now, these are sometimes a little bit slow to start, just because I don't have that many subscribers. There's not that many people, clicking on this just randomly out the blue. So sometimes they can be a bit slow to start. Usually the first 20-30 minutes are me absolutely waffling on about whatever I decide to waffle on about. So if you are just joining now, you've missed the boring part, thankfully. But, if anyone has any ideas that they want to talk about, or any thoughts on technology and magic that they want to explore, any avenues that they want to go down, please feel free to let me know. The little chat box is right there. I can see it on this screen as well. So I will be able to answer or talk about whatever you want. And if no one wants to talk about anything right now, that's fine as well. It's Sunday. You should be enjoying your Sunday evening doing something else, not watching this. And I probably won't be on here too long anyway, so. There is one piece of housekeeping that I wanted to do. We didn't get to record a Black Art podcast this week. Just once again, Lloyd's super busy at the moment. He's just sorting out some personal stuff as well, which is taking him a while, and it's taken a lot of effort for him to sort through, I believe. It's not my business to talk about, but so we haven't been able to do the Black Art podcast, but hopefully next week we should be back on. Darren says, do you struggle to introduce / justify tech in a more esoteric set? Yes, I really do, dude. I really do. When it is something like Enigma, where theoretically the phone is only used for the reveal, then that seems okay. Because it's just the same as if I picked up like a notepad and wrote something down. It's modern. The thing is, what I think, which could be completely wrong, I think we care more about introducing or justifying than any audience. If I go up to an audience member, or if it's in the street or if it's in a beer garden, whoever the participant is, if I'm talking to them about ghosts or about spooky little gremlins and ghouls and goblins and demonic entities, if I pull out a phone to show them something, that they don't really care. That's what people do. People use their phones for things. People show stuff on their phones, even if they're talking about the weirdest things in the world. I will pull up a YouTube video and show you the new UAPs that the US Navy accidentally leaked on YouTube. So in a way, it's us that get hung up on the justification. The audience, I don't think the audience really cares. They're not thinking, narratively, this doesn't fit. This doesn't suit the aesthetic whatsoever. I mean, there probably are certain audience members who are a bit weird like that. Maybe they think that way, but I don't know. I think it is just a magician problem. It's a mentalist problem. We get hung up on the way that we look. I remember watching a video from what is it called? Is it called You're Only Lying to Yourself? It's a Luke Jamay release to do with card magic. And there is a section on it where he has this deck of cards. They're kind of, I think they're wrapped up in this really cool, like, weird leather box. And he said he'd spent ages finding the exact leather box on eBay, or like one of his friends had found it for him after he'd been hunting for it for years. And he said, that's just a really nice leather box, like it's the exact style that I wanted these cards to appear in. But, and this is me paraphrasing, but no audience member's going to care about that. The people who care about stuff like that are the ones who are performing it. Aesthetically, that's for me. It's not really going to do much for anyone else. Like, we're the ones who get hung up on trinkets and curios and objects of desire. And I think the same is true about how you present magic tricks that involve tech. They're not going to question it, really. And if they do, they're probably a cock. Weird videos on YouTube, that gives me an idea, says Darren. Go film a Blair Witch style shit video and have some reveal in it for something you could force. Or something like Between the Lines by Michael Murray. Dude, yes, if you could have a Between the Found footage, that'd be pretty cool. You send them a YouTube link and say don't click on it, but it's so weird, This came up on Reddit the other day on r/terrifying as fuck or whatever. With tropes that come from horror movies and stuff like that, you can probably utilize some of those tropes to great effect to get people to basically predict the plot for something, or to predict the visual imagery from just a few weird keywords. If you were to say it's a found footage, it's like this found footage thing in a forest, people can immediately imagine the aesthetic of it, what it looks like, and there's probably a few avenues that you could go down that where they would just be spot on with whatever their prediction was. Although weird videos on YouTube are a definite great love of mine. I stay up way too late watching strange videos, dude. There was an idea to do with videos that I spoke about literally today. We had kind of a mini jam on technology stuff, technology based magic in the Real Underground Discord. And there was an idea to do with videos that I spoke about in there today. So if anyone's a member and wants to check it out, it was a suggestion I made to another magician who I will keep nameless publicly, but in the Discord you'll find out. Really, really fun idea that could be quite powerful if it's done right. But yeah, I gave that idea to someone, so I don't want to share it publicly. It was a gift. So if anyone is interested in talking about anything that has nothing at all to do with technology, feel free to shout out, feel free to let me know. Like I said, it is a Sunday. There's not going to be that many people live. I kind of knew that coming in. And I was like, I'm just going to say my piece for 20-25 minutes. And if anyone wants to jam or talk, then I'll carry on. And if not, I'll probably just bounce. It's just an easy way for me to make a video talking about some things, you know, for the first 20-25 minutes of this. God, I feel bad for anyone who watches this after the fact on the replay. It is literally just me chatting absolute balls to myself. Been wanting to use this in effect for a while. Very Hamlet. It's the candle that you light the insides and it melts out of his eyes. Pretty cool. With the next few days, speaking of technology again, with the next few days, I have a pretty cool app that I've kind of nearly just finished. I've just got to sort out some visual things on it. That'll be going up in the beta apps page shortly, probably, once I've got a better idea about sorting out the visuals on it, which is what Darren was literally just messaging me about earlier. Because I believe with iOS 17 there's still some hiccups with some of my design work that I've done on there, but I'll take a look once I've finished this and see if I can figure something out. If not, I don't know. I did look this morning and I couldn't find anything specifically that said about why that would happen. So I've got no idea why it is happening. I need to figure it out. Because it's a bit of an issue if the apps don't look like they're supposed to look on iOS 17. I feel a bit bad because I don't really have too much to talk about besides apps at the moment, because that is literally what I've been doing for like a week straight. There's not much in the way of traditional magic or mentalism that I've worked on. A few little card moves that I was playing around with that might turn into something. I'm not much of a card magician, but they might turn into something down the line. I'm not too sure yet. But just a few little moves that could become part of a bigger routine. Some interesting things that I've been working on with mentalism. Psycho Wolf is still scheduled to come out soon. There's just one part of it that I need to finish off. I spoke about that last time. It's kind of like a little collection of 5 effects. And it's just an ebook that should be out soon on the membership. I just put out on the membership a free ebook. If anyone wants to check it out, it is completely free. It's just like effect concept. It's based on one of the ideas that we had in like the first or second stream. The stuff to do with ambiguous torn corner on an image. It's just a little resource for that. Going over a potential routine and then some references for it. So if anyone watched that stream and enjoyed it, go check that out. It's in the free collection on the Real Underground, and the link's just in the description. It's called Ambiguous Images. It's got a red cover. You should be able to see it straight away, pretty much. Besides that, I don't really think there's any other housekeeping to do. I don't think there's anything important to talk about. Zodiac is hopefully coming out soon. It's getting closer and closer to completion every day. And hopefully a wider release than other stuff that I've put out. But who knows how that's going to turn out. We'll see how it goes. I am going to bounce, guys. You have a lovely Sunday, and I'll try and schedule these better next time.